Come on. Yes, Yeah, boy. We back around the water cooler, man. And we appreciate y'all so much for rocking with us as always, man. Tonight, we getting into this NIL talk. Man, it must be the money. We're talking about it tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up next, Water Cooler Talk Podcast. You know what's coming down.
Boys and girls of all ages, you're tuned into the Water Cooler Talk Podcast, the biggest podcast in the world. Yeah.
You are now tuned in to Water Cooler Talks, covering everything you love about college football, especially everything going down in the SEC Conference. So, if you love college football, you need to lock in. And now, your hosts, Nick Frazier and Marcus Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. Welcome back around the water cooler, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nick Frazier, one half of the Water Cooler Talk Podcast, the coolest, Water Cooler Talk Sports, the coolest podcast in your ear. And the other man, you don't see him, but you can hear him. Tell him who you are, boss man.
Yeah, I'm working tonight, so I might gotta get in and get out. But you know who it is, Marcus Fitzpatrick. Let's go, let's get it.
Yes, sir. He's here, rocking with us as always. And of course, again with us tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the fam, the man, the myth, the legends. They are from Tight Sports and Alabama Football Maker Cast. Tight Sports. How you feeling?
Roll Tide to you all. It's Friday. I should be watching cartoons or Seinfeld episodes, but I'm here talking about math.
The show about nothing. The show about nothing. Okay. And of course, from at its SEC season, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Auburn Tez. Tez, what's going on, man? How you feeling?
Feeling pretty good, man. Got a little storming outside, man. So if I cut out, know that the rain got the best of my Wi-Fi.
Really? I think it's gonna be
power.
It's gonna be something else.
Wow. Okay, then. All right, man. We appreciate y'all so much for continuing.
Good luck to you, Tez.
Here around the water cooler, man. As always, make sure you follow us on Facebook at the Water Cooler Talk Podcast. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at the Water Cooler Talk. Follow us on Twitter at CoolersPod23. Subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell button here on YouTube. Help us get these subs and these likes and these shares and these comments up here on YouTube, man. We appreciate y'all for that, man. And as always, make sure you go out and support, in the words of Travell, the Avengers of YouTube, man. At Auburn.
That's the king.
That is the king. It is king. At Auburn says at its SEC season. Let's go follow Tight Sports at Tight Sports and Alabama Football Megacast.
You didn't read the whole thing there.
At Tight Sports _. No, I'm not saying that. I let you remember what it was.
So I almost got you.
I did.
It was
I
close.
typed it out. I was the one that typed it out. That's crazy. Make sure y'all go follow Auburn Addicts TV, DC Wolf over there. Follow the guys.
DC
and Dustin over at the Uptempo Podcast, and of course, Sharpshooters Podcast on their way to 800 subscribers. Man, make sure y'all go over there and support all
Balake
other guys here in the Avenger space of the YouTube, man. We appreciate y'all so much. JT with the quote of the day. JT says, "There's nothing quite as wonderful as money, 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 money," and that's from one Young Thug, Sir Young Thug. Shout out to him for the quote of the day. Auburn Dad comes in saying, "War Eagle, let's go." What up, Auburn Dad? Hope you feeling good. Auburn Dad said, in the famous words of Cuba Gooding Jr., it's another quote: "Show me the money."
Show me the money.
That's what it's all about now. Jerry Maguire.
Show me the money.
The Huggy Beard, the legend of Sweet
Huggy Beard.
He said, "War Eagle, what's up, man?"
Huggy.
It looks
What's
like
up, C Bama? C Bama, what up?
What's up,
Keep on that 4-6. Represent 4-6.
Oh, that's what's up, man. The 4-6,
Yeah,
3-3-4. It's the 4-6, baby. The
What's up?
4-6. That's what I'm talking about. Representing the 4-6. Tuskegee, Macon County. What's going on?
Yeah.
My guy, King Richard. What's going on, King,
up,
man?
King?
The king.
Oh, my God. Huggy Beard is saying, "What's happening, gentlemen? What's going on with you, Huggy? Hope all is good." Auburn Dad said, "Nick, Marcus, Tez, and High Tight." It is what it is. And JT said, "War Eagle to Marcus, Russell Wilson." Man, let's stop this, bro. Russell Wilson, Ted, and Aloha Tight.
Aloha.
And then, of course, my guy, the guy himself, C Hall.
What up? What up?
Man, War Eagle, C Hall. How you
Do it. Do some math.
Doing well, man.
Trigonometry.
Tonight is definitely a math show. Tonight is definitely a math show. So we're gonna say it, man. Tonight's show
I got
is
math.
very NIL based. You saw the thumbnail, Steve Sarkisian on the thumbnail with the gold cowboy hat on.
Yeah,
and it says, "Must be the money." A new era of spending in the SEC. Good God
Must
Almighty.
be the money.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been reported that the Texas Longhorns, giggity. No, that's Texas A&M, giggity. Texas Longhorns.
No matter, they both terrible.
Horns up. They can say the horns up or horns down, which one you want to do it. So, are on the verge of spending somewhere in the neighborhood of $35 to $40 million on their roster for the 2025 season.
It hit me in my spirit when you said that.
It's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
What?
Now, there are some people who are disputing that number. There are some people saying that number is actually closer to 28.5 million to 30.5 million. So that's still a lot of money, though. There's still a lot of money for college football.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Right.
And just for reference, 247 put out in December of 2024. 247 put out a list of the top 25 NIL teams that have NIL. That's NIL strap. That's basically boomed it. Like they doing it in NIL. 12 SEC teams were in the top 25. South Carolina set at 22 with 9.5 million. Kentucky was at 11.2 million at 18. Arkansas 17, 11.5. Auburn was 16 with 11.58. Tennessee was 15 with $11
up.
Tennessee is 15 with 11.6. Oklahoma was at 10 with 14.8. Florida was at 8 with 15.8. Alabama sat at 7 with 15.9. Texas A&M was at 5 with 17.2. Georgia at 4 with 18.3. LSU at 3 with 20.1. And Texas at 22.2 round came in the top spot in that order. So, fellas, we're gonna get into this conversation, man. How do y'all feel about this, man? Like 40 million seems tight. How do you feel about this, man? 40 million seems like a lot, bro. That's a lot of money.
I think it's a lot of money, and as you know, I'm always talking about somebody's eventually going to have to sign an agreement to come to, an agreement on how much we're going to spend, collective bargaining maybe. For years and years, baseball was like, let Steinbrenner have it, man. I got great grandchildren to feed. I ain't trying to match up with the Yankees. Then they changed all of a sudden because it got ridiculous. It got ridiculous, and then it got ridiculous because the Yankees were spending and they weren't even winning. They were just spending. Because you still somebody got to coach, somebody got to hit, somebody got to pitch, and somebody may want to catch a couple balls and get 27 outs. 162 times a year, 27 outs. Sounds so simple. So I think that the spending is going to go up till you're going to get inequity. Like I said, it gets to be a point where Vanderbilt could go to and let's say this to the Sun Belt with all due respect. Vanderbilt could go to Sun Belt and win conference championships for the next 10 years and get into 4 or 5 playoffs. Why would I stay in the SEC and put up with this madness? So once it gets lopsided and Vanderbilt gets tired of it, like my little title says, SEC football plus millions equals Quagmire or Empire. Some people gonna be in a quagmire like, why are you spending money on these players? Well, that's what you gotta do. But you only going 500 for the last 8, 7. The hot seat is gonna become microwavable for some people. Stoops in particular, and there's some others out there. But things are gonna start moving fast. But eventually, don't you just, like I say, it's 3 tiers in the conference of 16 teams. There's an upper, there's a middle, there's a lower. You hang around that lower, you're gonna be gone as a coach. You hang around in there, spending this kind of money, whether it's 10, whether it's 32, you're gonna be gone. So I start off with that.
So Ty, you brought up an interesting point there. You
usually do. You
did. You brought up an interesting point. You brought up a point there, and I want to get Tez's thought on this. You brought up an interesting point about spending becoming so high that teams that are in the bottom tier, coaches in the bottom tier, are basically going to be looking for jobs all the time. So Tez, I'm asking this question. Tez, does NIL, does it create competitive imbalance in college football?
You weren't expecting that. You're throwing curveballs today.
No, I don't think it does.
I'm on my brain gumbo. That's what I am. I'm on my brain.
That's a good question. Does it create competitive imbalance? No. I don't think it creates no more imbalance than already was in college football. The bigger schools have been dominant now. Then the bigger schools are dominant now. I tend to say nothing out recruits trophy cases. And you can kind of see that happening with NFL. NIL's been around for a while. When you I look at high school recruiting versus like what's happening in the transfer portal. When we talk about the effects of NIL on college football, I think a lot of people are referring to what's happening in the transfer portal. When you look at high school recruiting, it's still the same names. Still the same names from 10, 15 years ago, hovering around the top. Because ultimately, majority of these kids have coaches, have somebody in their corner that's saying, or just like, a father figure. Father figure, that was crazy. But parents are just like somebody that's telling them like, hey, for your future, you want to be in a place that develops you so that you can get to the NFL. I don't think it's as about money as a lot of people would have you kind of believe. I think ultimately these schools, I'd say it's about money between certain schools. So if a player has how can I explain it? If a player has an opportunity to go to some elite schools, right?
Okay.
He's likely choosing between those schools when it comes to the money aspect of it. He's not looking down at some other smaller schools. Like if you have the opportunity to go to, let's just say Auburn, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, right? You're not then looking at, I don't think a lot of kids would be looking at like Liberty and saying they're offering me more money to come there and choose that school. I don't think that's necessarily happening. You're picking between schools of cachet. So as far as a competitive imbalance, not any more than it's already been in college football. I don't think so.
Okay. All right. That's interesting. Marcus, what you say to that?
I agree with Tez. I think it'll be the same competitive imbalance as it is right now. I also would say, going back to y'all previous point about the turnover rate of coaches, I think the turnover rate of coaches will be the same across the board, like even with the high NIL paying schools, because if you put out a lot of money in your NIL, you're gonna want a return on your investment right then. So if those high paid NIL schools coaches are not winning, their lifespan of coaches is not gonna be long. Like we watching it right now with our coach. If he don't win very soon with all the money that we can get out of NIL, he might be looking for a job.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Interesting. Okay. All right. So this is a great conversation so far, fellas. I'm liking this. I'm liking my Bryant Gumbel Stuart Scott role here tonight. You know, I'm liking this. This is great, man. I like this. Shout out to y'all, man, and shout out to y'all in the comments, man. I saw Robert Smith come in and said, man, I only watched this because of Marcus Fitz.
I appreciate it, bro.
That's what he said. I don't know why it's not quite. There you go. He said, I only watch this because of Marcus Fitz. Shout out to you, Robert. Thank you, Marcus, for being. Marcus got plenty of fans. Shout out to that, man. We appreciate you for that, Robert, man. The king of the comments, Travell, is in the chat. He said, says Richie is in the building. What's up? I guess you Lionel Richie nephew. Oh, that's what he did say that last night.
He did say it last night. Yeah.
That is funny. That is funny, man. The King, Richard, His Royal Highness said, so what happened if Texas spends 35-40 million and never win a championship or make it past the Final Four in the college football playoff? I'm gonna give you a little. I'm gonna give you some stats here.
Looking for coaches.
Give you some stats. I'm gonna give you some stats here. So Ohio State's roster last year was what? A $22 million roster, $20 to $22 million roster. All right. And
so it wasn't 40.
No, it wasn't 40.
No,
but here's the wild part about that. They only brought in 8 guys. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You 9. Saying that, but the 8 guys that they brought in.
That's what I'm saying. I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that. Here are the guys that they brought in. I'm just gonna. These are the names: safety Kenny Nelson Jr., a punter Anthony Venero, linebacker Joey Velasquez, quarterback Julian Sand, safety Caleb Downs, interior lineman Seth McLaughlin, running back Quinshawn Judkins, quarterback Will Howard, and tight end Will Kameka. That's the guys. So out of those 9, we can literally say that Will Howard, Quinshawn Judkins, Seth McLaughlin, and Caleb Downs were guys that actually really contributed to that team last year. Now, you look at Texas. You look at what Texas did. Texas is kind of doing the same thing again this year. So the number is somewhere between 35 to 40. I actually believe that number is probably closer to 28, between 28 and 30, because the report, shout out to Kirk Bowles from the Houston Chronicle. He said that report includes the $20.5 million settlement that's gonna go.
That's what I was thinking.
Teams, and that $20.5 million.
Yeah,
only 75% of that is going to football.
Yeah, so I know all of it's not going to football.
Yeah. So you're looking at roughly about, out of that, 15 million going to football. And then if you look at the report that came out in 22 of Texas having about 22.2 million in the pot for NIL, you add another 15 to that. Out of that 22, you got 7 left. So that number right there seems to be a little bit more digestible and reliable. But still, 30 million is still a lot for a football team. But you look at what Texas has brought in. Texas has brought in the transfer portal for this 25 class. They brought in a D lineman from Syracuse, a kicker from Texas State, tight end from Cal, D lineman from Maryland, wide receiver from Stanford, D lineman from Ohio State, D lineman from North Carolina, linebacker from Arkansas, D lineman from Purdue, and a punter from Utah. Not a lot of guys.
I think the optimal number is it's around 10.
Around 10. That's 2, 4, 6, 8. That is 10 guys.
You've been at school for a couple years. Start
Ohio
bringing
State did last year.
Right. You bring in 30 people, and you've been there 3 years. You got issues.
Yeah, true.
Are you trying to take a shot at a coach that we root for?
I have a hypothesis. My hypothesis is
30
this.
of them, 30 is a lot of them, though.
Yes, it's a lot. But I just think that you cannot be real quick.
That's
You
too
can't
low
be
size of
ranked.
ball.
You can't be ranked high in high school recruiting and portal for more than 3 or 4 years without there being a problem.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, I've heard you make this case.
That's fact, right?
Last Hugh Freeze.
Yeah, DC thought I was crazy when I said it, but I'm like,
The more
It
I
ain't
thought
just
about it, I was
Hugh
like, yeah, you know what? You might be right.
for 3 years, it's like 3 years, not 1 year, but like a couple years. You just
Over the course of time.
right because Prime went way down in the transfer portal last year. It
Mhm.
was number one the year before. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay then. All right. Hey, it says you go ahead. I think you can say something. Go ahead.
I think very deeply.
Go ahead, Tess.
So one of the things about Ohio State's roster, and I heard Josh Pate say this actually, was that when we look at that NIL number, we got to account the amount of money they invested back into their roster. So they only got 8 players, but they spent a lot of money in keeping players.
Retention. I think retention is key.
Player retention. And he made the case that was the best use case of NIL and the way to build a roster. And I kind of agree with that.
But they should have spent some on keeping them coaches, though.
I do too, and I agree with the
that's true.
coaching strategy about it. The way they strategically went after the players that they went after. I also thought that was very clever.
Very, very. And then like we talk about Texas. You asked the question. The question was in the comments: what if Texas wins 4 games, don't make the college football playoff? Right? And they spend all this money on their roster, right? Well, here's the thing. We don't know how much these teams were spending on their roster before NIL.
It's a great question.
And I think we would all assume that Texas had a ton of money this whole time, right?
Well, let's okay. To that point, let's sit here.
Now, I don't
Okay,
know if they were spending it on football, but Texas in recent history has not been just knocking down the door of
but
supremacy.
To that point, if Texas was spending $1 million on a player, that would have came out before NIL. That would have came out some kind of way.
Would it?
Eventually, it would.
The same state that housed SMU, you think they would allow that to come out?
I'm just saying, $1 million on a player without it being cash.
Understandable. Yeah, it could be to your parents. You know, you get your parents out of one state and bring them to another state and get them a nice house in a neighborhood before they was working somewhere else that they knew they couldn't afford it.
You leave the Bush family alone.
Man, chill out. I didn't say no names. I said no names. I didn't say no names at all. I know
they did something for Ricky Williams. They had to make sure Ricky Williams was no, they did.
Allegedly.
So even if it's not $1 million, right? And they were spending money on this roster, Texas over the last this Texas that we talking about now, this is like the last 2 or 3 years.
Yep. Right. Yep.
Prior to that, we talking about 8 wins, 7 wins, 5 wins. Like it hasn't been, they've been spending money on the roster for mediocre results for a very long time. It doesn't matter. Yeah, well, it does matter how much it is, but I'm just saying, like they kind of in condition to do that. Because
how much? I asked you the question. How much was coaching involved in that? Because Tom Herman was the head coach for a while, and everybody was high on Tom Herman. Everybody was high on Tom Herman as the next guy, and he was at Texas and it just did not pan out. So I mean, in that case, like how much of that is coaching? They could have been spending the money on that. They could have been they could have gotten the talent in the players, but how much of that talent, how much of that was the actual fact of them actually coaching and putting the guys in great situations to win?
Yeah, I think more so than Tom Herman was the brand of Texas. Have recently, I'm not gonna say it wasn't strong, but like back in the Charlie Strong eras, it wasn't like
They were
there
split.
wasn't Matthew McConaughey on the sidelines.
They
like,
were
it
split.
wasn't.
They were
You see
split
what I'm
when
saying?
Charlie Strong was there. Yeah,
Like,
they
it wasn't.
didn't have the sport. They didn't have the
what
support.
they are now is like.
Yeah, because they're
It's like
unified.
it's all aligning. Like it's been a long time coming, and it's like the brand of Texas is stronger than it's ever been almost.
Right.
So
I don't know if that was a brand problem. I think it was, like you said, I think it was just an alignment problem when Charlie Strong was there.
could be it.
I
affects recruiting, though, right?
I still think the brand of Texas
definitely affected recruiting.
I mean, yeah, having that, if you're a recruit going in, and you have guys that come into recruiting, that come into certain schools and recruit, and you're talking to one, you're talking to one particular sect of people, and then you talking to another sect of people that's saying a different thing. Yeah, that's an alignment issue. I don't think the brand of Texas was not causing, because they were still getting visits and still getting some top guys during that time.
Yeah, that's probably a bad word. Probably a bad choice of words for it, brand. Because I think we kind of going through a similar thing right now.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Tom Herman came in there. It's like their recruiting spiked up, but he wasn't that coach.
That's what I'm saying.
He wasn't that coach.
Then Steve Sarkisian comes in. He has a couple of, turbulent seasons to start, and then now
it's humming.
Perennial playoff, championship caliber team in that situation.
But if he comes there and wins 4 games this year, I think was the original question.
Yeah.
He doesn't go into the Charlie Strong category, but I think he goes directly to that year before they got rid of Tom Herman. They were like, okay, it's not working. It's not working. It's what? It's not working. Him, the Manning boy, it can't be the Manning guy. So maybe it's him. But before we lose Arch,
why can't it be Arch Man?
Hey man, because he can't.
Hey, so I was reading an article and they said Arch Manning's NIL, none of it comes from Texas. Wow. All of it is stuff that he's gotten from outside that his family manages for him.
So wait a minute, does he have Rolex and does he drive a Bentley?
I don't know.
I need to see it. I'm not gonna believe you till I see it.
I don't know. Like I don't.
Hey, when does his country western album come out?
I have no clue. I have no clue. Like
that boy ain't got no money.
Because it ain't perfect timing. I'm just let me stop.
I was gonna say, Ty, you throwing shots tonight,
it ain't perfect timing.
Well, I'm from the place where we show it. We put it out there. If he had money, then where's his YouTube channel? I don't see nothing.
Man, they're gonna make that man fall to the 5th round, man. You better stop doing it.
Run, Juju. Run.
I don't want to see that.
Well, y'all on one tonight, bro.
He put up no type of stats, so he might not get drafted.
Y'all on one tonight, man. Y'all on one.
Run, Juju.
I'm gonna give y'all this, man. 2022, 2023 athletic department revenues come out. 24 hasn't come out yet. Ohio State was number 1 at 274.9 million. Texas was at number 2 with 232.3 million. Michigan came in at number 3 at 225.6 million dollars in total revenue for the athletic departments. I'm gonna ask this question: looking at that type of money that's being raised, and Ron Juju, looking at that type of money that's being raised, I'm gonna ask this question: can schools like Auburn, can schools like Alabama, can schools like LSU, and I said LSU for a reason because LSU has just basically said that they have committed $26.5 million in combined money for 24, 25, and 26. And 13 of that is coming from their NIL collective. And LSU has the number 1 transfer portal class for the class of 25, class 25. Can schools like that keep up with those type of programs, those legacy blue blood programs in college football? And I'm gonna start with I want to get Marcus's thought on this one first.
Yeah, of course. The schools that you name have very strong alumni, and they're gonna keep getting money, especially for media deals and all types of stuff like that. All they got to do is just keep producing on the field, and with the talent coming in, you would assume that they would. And if they don't, you're not gonna blame the talent. You're gonna blame the coaching. And there's gonna be a lot of coaches that lose jobs when they don't produce.
So you think the alumni base of Alabama, the alumni base of Auburn, the alumni base of LSU, I think Florida could probably keep up with it because Florida has a very wide alumni network. Let's use another school. The alumni base of, I don't know. Well, I'm not gonna throw Oklahoma in there because Oklahoma got that beef money.
I think Florida is the biggest school in the SEC.
Yeah, I think it is. I think no, they're not.
By far.
No.
Are they?
No, I thought it was Tennessee, actually.
I thought it was Tennessee.
Tennessee had the biggest.
I don't think Tennessee's
NIL
in top. I don't think that's top 5 because Florida has 3 of the top.
I think Tennessee is
4 of the top largest schools in the SEC. I mean, in the country.
I think
that is true. No, you might be right. Ty might be right about that. Florida might be the biggest school in the SEC. I know their alumni network is like strong. Like,
so we talking about in terms of revenue or just NIL?
No, in terms
of alumni they're producing every year. I mean,
I see what you're saying. Oh, okay, I got you. I thought we were talking about like
you looking
at
the
NIL collectives.
No, I'm trying to tie it together. So if you have those alumni networks, could those schools keep up with Texas? Because it just seems as if Texas just keep printing money.
Yeah, they got a lot of oil money.
Yeah.
That oil money tight. What you think?
Yeah.
I mean, they could, but it's like playing politicians. Like, it's not really about how much money they have. It's about getting somebody to want to play college football with their money. Right?
Yeah.
It's who's willing to donate the money. Like right now, we have as an alumni, Tim Cook. Apparently, Tim Cook isn't really interested in college football because he's not willing. He's not willing to play college football with his money.
Very true.
Old boy from Yellowwood, he is. This is what he wants to do with his money. So it's not so much about how much money or what the alumni
Mr.
has.
Jimmy Raines, man.
Yeah, Jimmy Raines. If you have, you need somebody with somebody with a bunch of money to want to play college football with their money, right?
Gotcha.
When you saw Nick Saban calling out Texas, saying when that one time when he threw everybody under the bus, including Coach Sanders,
which was not true, by the way, because they did not get that dude $1 million.
That's true. Yeah, it wasn't true. But
he just said somebody told him that.
he was petitioning to find somebody like in Texas, like, hey, guys, they spending this much money on that. We need one of y'all. Y'all got the money.
Right.
We need one of y'all to step up.
One of y'all with Alabama
play this college football like it's Madden. So like
Alabama has a mineral engineering department. So he was like, somebody around here got some money. Some of y'all work right next to Jerry Jones when he left Arkansas. Come holler at your boy. Texas A&M is the largest enrollment at 77,000. Central Florida is 69. Florida is 60.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay. Florida. I knew Florida was like in that top, like had to be one of them top schools.
Can't believe Florida State is not in this list. Ohio State is next to 60.
So what is Texas then? So what is Texas and Austin?
Texas and Austin is down at number 9 now at 53,000. Florida International is actually beating Texas by 1,000.
That's funny because Auburn is at like 30, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Alabama, both of them. They're right close to each other. Like that, Florida International got some real money, yo. And
that's my point. So if you have, this is the point I'm saying. When you have those type of schools like that, which is surprising to me, why Florida is not competing at the level that they are. Because if you have that type of alumni base, and let's just use fast. If Florida has 60,000,
you do know they just won the March Madness, right?
Yeah, we're not talking about basketball. We're talking about football.
I'm just saying. You just throw it out there. That wasn't free.
I understand it. But the thing is, like, it's surprising that you sit there, you look at that, and you're sitting here saying football is the revenue generator there. There has to be some alumni there. If 60,000 kids enrolled. Let's just take, I don't know, 20% of that. That's 12,000 people that graduate on an annual basis.
Yeah, okay? 10, 12, yeah.
10 to 12. Let's just say 12,000 of those graduate on a yearly basis. Out of that 12 years. That's what I'm saying.
At least 30 years for 30 years.
Out of that 12, let's just say half of those end up in high-paying positions, and then let's just cut that half 3,000 into guys that's potentially being in the millionaire range. And then let's cut that even down to another 1,500. That's potentially CEOs at big companies that have CEO packages. You telling me you don't have guys that you can call on and be like, hey, we need 500,000 to come in and help us out here.
Well, it goes back to what Tez was saying. It goes back to what Tez was saying. Do they want to? Do you want to? And this is what I said a long time ago about NIL. Like eventually what's the guy? Barstool Sports, his wife funded that Bryce Underwood thing. Now he may have came home, even though he's in sports, looked at his beautiful bride and say, so we not vacationing this year, are we? Because I mean, that's a lot of money. Was it 11 million, whatever it was? They said she
11 over 4, I think, or 3.
She that's what she did, but will she feel the same next 2 years if Bryce, whatever, if he decides to transfer, if they win a national champion, will she be willing to do it again? Or is she gonna be like, we win a national championship? She's gonna be like, woo, I thought it was gonna be a waste of money. So if she don't win a national championship at Michigan again, then she's gonna be like, I just spent $11 million on a 70-year-old. And it's just how long are they gonna want to do that? That's what I always said, Ted. Like, how long you want to spend this much money on somebody at a high school or this much money on a sophomore that's coming over without, the people like the Will Howard, the Caleb Downs, they're proven entities. That is one thing. They're kind of proven, or at least they can throw it around a little bit. Definitely knew Caleb can play, but that Nico stuff, this Bryce stuff, I think that's gonna be going down. Those numbers are gonna kind of contract going forward.
So I agree with it. Oh, go ahead, Mark.
No, what I'm feeling about this situation is, and what it sounds like to me is the schools that pump out the most NFL talent and the most NFL alumni is going to seem like it's going to start taking advantage in this NIL situation because you're going to have more guys that can give back to the school with that type of income.
We're not just talking NFL guys. We're talking just regular students that went to school and they
I'm just saying that
as well.
He raises a good point though, because
it is a good point. That's a good point too. Yeah,
because those guys would have the money and they had the interest. They played football there, so they would be more willing to donate money.
I would be surprised. I'd be surprised if you find over 25 guys that have given $1 million to their school.
That's a good point too, because that's a good point.
$100,000 a year. It's probably a lot of them did $100,000 a year. Blah blah blah. But because you're talking about big numbers, you got to go to the biggest numbers, which is the alumni and your dirt road alumni. The people out here buying this stuff. That can join Yale, Alabama, and will dang near fight an alumnus about the football team. They're very important too. So your base, that's what makes the SEC the way it is. And Michigan and Penn State and Michigan, because they got so many people who didn't go there. They got that big base.
Right.
I think that's the most important thing. And the way that you break through that, like you were saying about Mississippi State, I don't think 6-6, but coaching. That guy goes from 2-10 and he gets to that bowl game in a year. He's going to have, Josh Grisham going to stop spending all his time on the Grove. He's going to have to come back to his undergrad year and, holler at him. Y'all know who Josh Grisham is, right?
No, I don't.
You're going to have to tell us.
Yeah.
He wrote The Firm. He wrote Runaway Jury. He graduated from Mississippi State. He got a law degree from Ole Miss.
Okay.
He spent a lot of time, at both schools actually, but he got money to give away. He's written about 16 books, all of them bestsellers, but he got about 5 of the biggest movies you ever seen before in your life dealing with lawyer and crime. But if you ever seen The Firm starring what's that boy name? Tom Cruise. They filmed it in Memphis. It was written by Josh Grisham. Star Chamber. He got a bunch of books out there. Anyway, he has, he can't just ignore Mississippi State. The guy changes it over. He said, "Hey, John, I don't need you to call your Hollywood folks that got that Mississippi State connection and help us, get to the 7 wins or 8 wins." And he have to listen. But if he coming there still going 2-10, 3-10, be 3-9, no, I'm gonna stay over here at Kiffin. At least he gonna give me 8 or 9 wins a year. So
to that point,
I
Ty,
got.
go ahead, Tez. I'll bring it. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was about to say, man. Honestly, now that I'm thinking about the question that you're asking, basically is how to bridge the gap between the people who have money, but then with the people who want to spend money on football, amongst the alumni base, right?
yeah,
And,
Yeah.
and the more and more I sit here and think about that, it's like Dion kind of gave everybody the blueprint for that. I mean,
right.
you may not agree with how he actually went about it or
You got to
whatever,
get
however
A-ball in
you
that
feel
thing.
about it. Yeah, but just to present a product, if you can boost the product to the point that people gravitate towards it, then I think alumni would be more inclined to spend their money on something like that because they know that they'd be getting the revenue back in terms of the NIL. When they sign these NIL deals, they would be getting the revenue back. They get a return on their investment because people would be buying jerseys regardless of whether they won or not. So like,
Right.
just if you can find a way to, boost the brand of your school or your program at that moment, however you do it, you know what I mean? In a way that's, that the alumni and everybody at the school agrees with, man, you can really get some guys to buy into it for real, for real. And I think there's with Dion coming in like that, he provided something that people hadn't really thought of
Right.
in this NIL era. It's like, man, you can really make money for these kids, and you don't necessarily have to have this success yet. We can boost this program without actually, the success on the field being there yet.
The gift of
So
gab.
Let me ask you this.
you'd be surprised, man. Either teams are gonna start throwing events and boosting their brand, or you're gonna start seeing more celebrity coaches.
I'm gonna ask y'all this question real quick. With this investment of funds into these, these college into these programs, the pressure to perform for these coaches, for players, does that raise the expectation for a college football team? Does it put more undue pressure on potentially they're still college athletes, so they're still student athletes? Does that still put more pressure on them, more pressure on these head coaches? And granted, some of these head coaches are getting paid $100 million over 6, 7 years, 10 years. The pressure that's going to be put on them, is it fair, unfair, or just right? Just a neutral thing? Go ahead, Tyke.
Go
ahead, Marcus.
My question is: are we talking about the player, or are we talking about the coaches?
I just said the player, the coaches, and the whole team. Is the pressure unfair? Is it fair, or is it too much? Is it? How do you feel about that?
The pressure for the players. It seems like the NIL is guaranteed as long as you show up to the school and stay there your whole time. So it ain't really that much pressure outside of, do you want to go to the next level with it? Once you get your NIL money, it seems like those are $1 million NIL deals. So you straight. The pressure is on the coaches because it's like this. You get to build up your team. You get to turn around your team. You get to pull all the pieces that you need and use the money that you at your disposal to put those teams together. So the pressure is really on the coaches, and you can see that with the nature of the game being how it is. Because if these coaches don't succeed, they getting fired. You have players that can jump from school to school and be at schools for 6 to 7 years now, which is unprecedented in the times that we grew up in. But you got times like that where kids can milk NIL deals. So it's just like, what pressure do you have?
All right, so I'm gonna give you an example. All right, Coach A at one school is getting 10 years, $111 million, has 30-something potentially $1 million invested into his football program. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Coach B, 6 years, $27 million. Has the same amount, maybe less, maybe a little bit more, but they're around the same number invested in his program. Which coach do you think is under more pressure?
Depending on what their record was in the year before.
Okay, all right.
So I would just assume that the other guys done better.
Let's just put it on an even playing field. I'm using Texas and I'm using Texas Tech because Joey McGuire, Texas Tech has literally just spent just about the same as Texas has in NIL, but he's getting paid significantly less over a 6-year period. So which coach has more pressure? Is the pressure fair for Joey McGuire, or is it unfair for Steve Sarkisian? Is it neutral, or
it's commensurate with the job that they're paid to do? Okay. I think they give him 6 years to do. They give him 6 years at Texas Tech to try to catch up with Texas, and he does it. He's definitely gonna make more than Sarkisian.
Okay. So at that point, does the pressure to perform become greater at that point because there's so much money involved?
Yeah, they get to the point where, like, I don't know, Texas Tech goes and 2 years in a row they finish further in the playoff than Texas. Then the camera's going to definitely be on the focus is going to be on Sarkisian.
Okay,
I mean it's going to vacillate back and forth between whatever your record was. It's like if day one somebody walks into Mississippi State, day one somebody walks into Alabama. The money probably is going to be different. Pressure is going to be different, but for some reason, probably because I guess Alabama's won, but they've been going through coaches at Mississippi State, not even giving folks a chance. To me, maybe they needed the money and they've been told we got to get some more money. It's like, well, all you got to do is go out there and coach them boys up. Like, yeah, but it's only so far you're going to be able to coach somebody when you're standing on when you're on your knees. You know what I'm saying? It's only so far I can coach you up. I can coach you up. Well, we don't lose by 20. We losing by 3 now. You know what I'm saying? But we're still losing.
But when we speak on pressures, we also have to take into account of brands because at a certain point, like Texas, the Texas brand,
good point.
The Texas brand is big, so once you come in, you can't afford to keep losing like that. At Texas Tech, you really just all you gotta do is keep getting 8-win seasons and fly up under the radar.
Right, because they fired Mac Brown. They fired Mac Brown like they were winning. It's like Mac Brown never won a championship. They was like, you need to get out. Just can you leave?
Well, Mac Brown was old too. He was older.
Oh, look at that! Age discrimination.
Dude was like pushing.
But look what they went through for the next 8 years, though.
Yeah, I think that's what Marcus said, man. I take it even further. If you are a competitive of one of the competitive ilk schools of the SEC, then it's almost a standard of 3 years, right?
Yeah.
It's like the unwritten rule now of some of these schools. If you get a job at Auburn, you get a job at Alabama, you got 3 years to kind of get this thing to where we like it. If not, we're gonna move on to somebody else. Mississippi State, you're looking at a school that used to be, while not winning, but competitive with Alabama. They used to be competitive. So, like, yeah, they went through a bunch of coaches because once you're in that competitive area, you constantly trying to find that, right? And there was an era. There was an era pre-NIL that kind of started this whole thing with Nick Saban coming in and winning national championships, and then Gene Chizik coming in year one and winning one, and then Nick Saban turning right back around and winning one. So now everybody kind of expects this microwave type thing. And I don't know if the money got anything to do with it. It's just more so the expectations in the SEC.
So basically, the money is just to acquire the assets for those coaches to do what you paid them to do.
But you better be able to either find the appropriate assets or you better be able to coach those assets up.
So basically, are we saying we're paying coaches to find great assets instead of coach? Because if you find the great assets, you should win. Is that what I'm hearing? Is that what Bryant Gumbel Stewart Scott is hearing right now?
I think that's what people want people to be able to do, but what I'm seeing a lot. I mean, what is it, 133 teams or 134?
34. 134.
I think really 20 of them coach very, very well.
Okay.
And I think a lot of them run their scheme. My scheme is gonna, oh my God, my scheme.
Okay.
And also the thing about that is going back to what Tiz was saying, like pre-NIL, you were lenient on coaches by that third year. You were like, all right, he just got his freshman class just getting to be upperclassmen. You were very patient with those coaches back then.
Right.
Now with the NIL, you like, all right, you didn't pay these players. You done got a whole bunch of transfers. By year three, you like, hey, every year you flipping the roster. So what else do you need to win? Because right now you have money at your disposal. You have the transfer portal at your disposal, so you can go get pieces to complement your coaching style. At first, you had to wait on the pieces to mature.
Right.
Now you can go in the transfer portal. You can get those mature pieces. You can pay those players and get them to complement your coaching style to give you that opportunity. By year three, we need to see what you can do.
Banging and clanging.
Yeah.
King Richard come in with a question. He said, here's a question. We're speaking of NIL, name, image, and likeness. Is this money guaranteed? Because if they are not selling jerseys or using their likeness on posters or videos, how is it? Well, King Richard, I'm gonna answer this question.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, we did. I'm gonna answer this question like this, King Richard. This is technically play for play. I know we talk NIL a lot, and you're correct. Name, image, and likeness is for a guy to go out, use his name, image, and likeness for endorsement. It's kind of like if an NFL, NBA athlete goes and signs an endorsement deal with Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, something like that. That's what name, image, and likeness is supposed to be, But the thing is, what we're seeing is NIL collectives who are not a part of schools, basically a separate entity, basically just raising money and just saying, look, if you come out of school, we'll just pay you. That's that's what we're in now. So now,
but it's up to that collective to go out and get overall, because really it's hard to get linemen just day one. In an advertisement, especially when they're young. You may have to do some speech stuff, dress them up. They're not. So you need time to get them to the point where, oh, who is that? That's Tim Smith or James Smith. Yeah. Okay, we know James Smith. But 3 years ago, you were like, man, what is he gonna do in front of a camera? Get this kid out of here.
So basically, now what they're trying to do is what was the agreement that they come to, but now the reason why it's being held up is the number of scholarships that they're gonna offer. They're trying to get it to 105. Is they're trying to take a portion of the revenue that's brought in by the athletic department and earmark it directly for just sports, like for paying players through the athletic department. So the number is about 20.5 million, and then like 75% of that will go to football. I think 10 will go to men's basketball, 5 will go to women's basketball, and the other 5 will just be to the other sports. Just divvy it up between the rest of the sports. It's what they're doing now. So to your point, you are right. This is not name, image, and likeness in the way that we think it should be, but it kind of is, because you're basically paying a guy to come play for your school.
Yeah,
that's what Own the Victory. Own the Victory is a collective that's basically paying a guy to come pay for their school. But unlike what Arch Manning is doing, Arch Manning's family went out and was like, all right, you're going to sign this deal with Panini cards. You'll go out and do this deal with whatever drink supplement company you're doing. That's name, image, and likeness. That's the reason why he's not taking any money from Texas. So that's what it was supposed to be in the spirit of what.
But like you got Auburn and a couple other schools are signing a deal with is some media company. What is it?
Playfly. I think I said it right. Playfly.
Now Playfly is going to do what? Is this a internet marketing thing, or are they just marketing in general?
Kind of like Fanatics a little bit, yeah.
So they will bring the whole team up, like Auburn University pushes this, or individual players come in as needed.
So basically, what it is, they're going to send a whole team that's going to be just for Auburn, and their job is to just go out and find deals for just Auburn players. That's
there's going to be more companies like that coming forward.
Exactly. So yeah. So basically, you just have like that team to be like, all right, Cam Coleman, body armor, wants you to come do a commercial. And this is what we're gonna. This is what they'll pay you to come do it. He can be like,
and
all
they're
right,
gonna handle everything,
and they'll handle everything for him. That's basically what it is.
So let's say that Cam Coleman can't go to get that body armor commercial. He would go. They would set up for him to shoot it remotely, turn it in. Like they're going to handle everything about the process.
It's his own marketing company. His own marketing.
Yeah. This is like a one-stop shop.
And so it's going to be, it's 130 some teams. It's going to be more companies like that. They're going to, other flows of revenues is going to start to move around as well. And that's why some teams going to get left behind. Like I know some NFL teams don't want all that social media, but their colleges is like that too, with their presidents, you know.
It's me, bro. It's me. Shout out to me, bro. Shout out to
They dedicated.
But there are presidents that don't want to, that may not, or coaches that may not want to have all that social media stuff going on at the program all the time, and they're gonna probably miss out on money until they replace that coach. To be honest,
got a point.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So to King Richard's point earlier, man, when we was talking about the NIL in terms of is that NIL with the name, image, and likeness in the school? And to your point about the scholarship limits, this is also, if you, in the earlier episode, I mentioned that I think they should just get rid of the scholarships, right? This is why. It's because it's towing the line between amateurism and professional. If you get rid of the scholarships, then you don't even have to call it student athletes. You don't even have to call it what you call it. Like, you know what I mean? You could just give the students however much money that scholarship costs. Just give it to them. Put it in an account. The same account that whatever the NIL is going to come through. I'm sure the NIL package that they'll get through the school is going to come through the Bursar's account. Like all the rest of the money, they get a refund. Put their scholarship in there. Give them the scholarship money so that they can see the line item and see, like, you coming to school. We're paying you to go to school too. Because the scholarship, where I mentioned it before, is scholarship is like that part of the salary when you get a job where they say like it's $80,000 job, but then only $50,000 of it is money you're gonna get paid. The other 30 is in benefits. Yeah. That's what the scholarship is to these students right now. It's like I ain't really counting that. Yeah. So
that's why I said that is remove these people from school. This is ridiculous. I've said that a long time ago. Be the Crimson Tide is sponsored by the University of Alabama.
That's where it's headed, though.
Because it's like, this is getting so ridiculous. And it's a lot of people out here that's 23 years old really wish they would let go on a football field instead of down at the gym getting in my way. Like, yeah, man, we played state championship. I was on the team. I wasn't starting then, but I can start now. You 25. Yeah.
Hey. Shout out, Chad Baker-Mazaro. And I learned something about this Chad Baker-Mazaro situation. I learned something about this Chad Baker-Mazaro situation. So I'm gonna use allegedly for this. So allegedly, Chad Baker-Mazaro, to everyone's point, yes, Chad Baker-Mazaro, and this was published. This was published by Fly War Eagle. Allegedly, Chad Baker-Mazaro did sign his new NIL deal with Auburn to come back. Yeah. And apparently the number was 1.1 million.
Ooh, nice.
But when they recruited Keyshawn Hall, they doubled his NIL package for a new guy coming in instead of a guy that was on the team.
Insulting.
So he was like, all right, I'm just going on the open market and find something else, and ended up going to USC. So I mean, it makes all sense in the world now why that happened. Because if you listen to a lot of the stuff that was going on, it was like he signed it and then was like, all right, I'm just backing out and just going to find something else. But when he found out, when he found out, and then, like I said, this is all allegedly, but it was published by Fly War Eagle. But when he found out that his
who told him? I mean, how did he find out? I mean,
that's a good
how
question.
did he find out?
That's a great
question.
Welcome.
You're welcome. That's what
you know what?
I called him. Hey man, they give him $2 million. Fair enough, fair.
You know what happened? And I'm gonna say this, and it's like, I don't know if people push back, but I know, never mind. But his talent wasn't good enough to overcome the price tag,
Here we go. Here we go.
And what he brings to the table.
I feel like this is a Shadur shot.
And the baggage that he brings to the table.
I feel like this is a Shadur shot.
That's all I'm gonna say. I mean, I don't know, but I'm saying
I watched a few of y'all games, man. I'm just gonna say this, man. That dude was like y'all Rodman, y'all.
No,
glue.
he's good.
Y'all, he's good. Draymond Green, and every team needs one. I wish we had one.
But he also cost us some games. He could actually score.
Yeah, but I mean, Draymond hit some threes, but it's just without. Close your eyes, go back. Imagine the whole season without him.
Oh, be tough. We was without him last year for one game. We lost to Yale.
Ain't talking about last year. I'm talking this year.
No, I'm saying to your point.
Right.
Like,
oh yeah. Well, yeah.
I am not the Mobile Leprechaun. I need your goal. That's what I need. I need the goal that you got. That's what I need.
Yes, we all need that goal.
King Richard said, "Man, I am surprised that schools haven't started going after players who transferred out to make them have to pay back their scholarship money when they don't stay in school for a complete school year."
I think it goes into what's in the
Madden.
Yeah, that's the Madden EMI thing that's going on now. They want him to repay $200,000.
Now I think depending on what's in his agreement and the other school made, how much is he getting from the new school?
To be honest with you, I think you know what, that's an interesting situation because maybe UCLA getting Nico and Madden equals up to what he probably wanted to get in the first place because they just paying the family. They're paying the family the same thing. It's going to the family.
That's a good point.
And the number that Nico apparently is getting is like right at $2 million. It's like 1.7. I think is what they were reporting. 1.5.
So they're giving Madden the other $2 million.
I don't know if they're giving him that, but they probably give him 800 a million, 800,000 to $1 million because he's going to be the starter. He's going to be the starter when his brother leaves.
But Tennessee won't.
Sure. With the portal.
Yeah.
With the way the portal works.
Yeah. He was their number one guy. The only reason why he wasn't at UCLA in the fall, earlier this year was because he switched to Arkansas because Arkansas gave him a better deal, apparently. On commitment day, he switched from UCLA to Arkansas.
A whole new world. It's like a new world, man.
It's crazy.
It's definitely way over.
The I say he stay at UCLA is because UCLA ain't gonna be a team that makes noise. So they ain't gonna. I don't think UCLA gonna be a team that win a lot, Nick.
Hey man, I saw Deshaun Foster at that. Is this Deshaun Foster? He was at that press conference. Man, that dude came with that like. It's like it was like a spelling bee in the 9th grade. Spell onomatopoeia. He was like,
"Wow, type. Wow."
Did you see it?
I know what you're talking about.
You see he was up there and said, "Well, so what kind of year you're expecting, coach?" He was like, "First of all, I ain't even supposed to be a coach." And it was like, and then so. If it wasn't for me seeing that, I would disagree with Marcus. But you're absolutely right. That man has no expectation.
Or maybe he just don't want to talk to the media. That's because that's not the first time he's done that, though.
But look, you better.
He did it. He did 10 media days as well.
If I got a 4-star child, I don't want him talking to him.
He did
that. Dude looked so unmotivated. He was like,
he did it at Big 10 media days as well too. He was like, "Yeah, we in Los Angeles,
yeah." Peace in the Middle East.
No, man. I don't know if there's any guarantees down there, though. Like
it may not be.
Even with like Hugh Freeze even said, yeah, if you're not the guy by the year 2, then you're never gonna be the man, right? Because we have the portal. There's no guarantee that this guy's gonna ever see the field at UCLA. Now he's probably
that's putting a lot of pressure. That's
right
putting a lot of pressure on this guy to play early.
Yeah. You got to think about it. They just went in the portal and got a Nico and a Mad in the same year.
Yeah.
Next year, if he's not the man, they just gonna go in the portal and find another one.
But that's the thing, though. What if his brother stays another year? All right, my brother staying another year. I can do that. My brother gonna still be the starting quarterback, so I can stand behind him and I'd be right behind him. So what if that happens?
Nico.
I don't know.
What I'm saying. I'm just. I don't think that.
Another year, he's probably be on the team. I get.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He's like, I can't wait another year. Depends on the right house folks need. That's true.
Yeah,
shout out to Jay Bate. Shout out to Jay Bate. That is true.
Your money. I wanted this Nico get to write all his losses by leaving Tennessee.
Oh, that's gonna be a big tax bill.
Yeah. Well,
Unless he keep his residence in Tennessee.
I'm not a CPA. I don't know what the rules are, but I'm like,
that's a big tax bill in the middle of the year too.
I mean,
Yeah.
at this point, they might as well do that. They might as well do that at this point. These athletes, they're getting the money, right? You're getting the NIL deals. You might as well not even just go there for when school is in and then keep your house where you at.
Exactly.
It's like a little summer. It's like a fall house you got.
Until they do that thing, unless they do that thing like they do with the NFL where you got to pay your taxes in every city you're playing. Yeah. That's slow down. That is so low down. Because I mean, I traveled as an auditor at one time, and if I had to pay, well, I probably have came up. Well, I went to Mississippi and Louisiana a lot, so I probably came up if they did it to me. Like, you ain't gotta pay Alabama taxes, you gotta pay Mississippi taxes. Like,
tight. It's me want you to bring the truth to this show, I guess. It's like watching a bunch of Chattanooga fans talk about how they gonna be
that's championship.
Did Chattanooga get above 50% last year? We haven't even said anything about Auburn.
It's me. It's me. These environments are for neutral ground, so we can have college football discussion.
I don't know what is me talking about.
We left all our weapons in the green room. We just trying to have an open discussion about the overall environment of college sports involving the NIL. And speaking of that, I want to get back to the competitive advantage.
Okay, go ahead.
Right.
If you look at next year, competitive advantage is no big deal. Okay. But eventually, I think it's going to shake out. I mean, give it 5, 6 to 8 years. If South Carolina go down, right? Why wouldn't they want to change conference? Just change conference. Like if they say, well, if y'all come over here, y'all can get such millions just like over there, but we'll give you a little extra. And then they look over their schedule and be like, we're playing in Alabama and Auburn and Texas. I'm tired. We go over there, we might be able to win that thing and go to the playoffs. I mean, you got 16 teams. It ain't getting no easier. Either we're going to get bigger, but we could get smaller too, or they'll replace them. South Carolina leaves, Georgia Tech comes in, but I just go back to the dreaded teams that Miami had where they weren't playing nobody in the Big East. And I still don't know why they left the Big East. I think the Big East really left them. They're like, we're not playing football no more with y'all. We're gonna play basketball. So they went to the ACC and it got real quiet for years. And did they win the ACC last year? They did win the ACC last year, right?
You talking about
Miami
in basketball?
Yeah. No, football.
Oh, yeah, I think they did.
Yeah, they won it.
That was their first championship.
No, Clemson won.
Jesus, they still ain't won since they
Clemson won because it was Clemson ended up winning. That's how they got in the playoff.
Yeah, in the playoff.
Oh wow! So they Miami still has not won an ACC championship. No. Anyway, but when I look at the Canadian, look at the competitive balance, I'm thinking that it's possible that something gets so skewed that it just don't make sense. A friend of mine was pointing out to me that Vanderbilt football is still shaky, but they sure compete in everything else, and they may be happy with that. I don't know if that $20 million. I don't know if they're going over 50% toward their football team. They're doing a lot, but I don't know. But the rest of them teams definitely getting money. The basketball team, the women's basketball team stepped up. The baseball team, I think they won the World Series a couple years back, and everything is stepping up. But some people I'll go back to Mississippi State and pick on them a little bit. Kentucky ain't going nowhere, but if Mississippi State doesn't have the great turnaround you're expecting, and then somebody
6-6. They go on 6-6. They go
both. And 7 years from now, when that coach leaves, he's left. He went 6-6. He went 9 and something. He went to the playoffs. But after he goes to the playoffs, he goes to a better program. So 5-6 years from now, they're back in the dumps, and they're like, if we go to that Sun Belt thing, I think we can go to the playoffs and get that other check that we get to keep most of it to ourselves. I just don't know how many years these teams are going to be able to have millions and millions to spend across the board without having some kind of parity, without coming in and say, okay, everybody can only spend $62 million on your team. Let's agree on that between us. Well, I don't have 62. We got you. Gonna send you a check.
So
to your point, Type, before we get out of here, last question before we get out of here. I'm gonna let you go, Tiz. Last question before we get out of here. Is this sustainable?
As it is.
And this is the last question for everybody. And I know Ted's got a point to make, but is this sustainable? Is what we doing sustainable?
Yeah, it's sustainable. It's just going to skew some people. But I'll let Ted go ahead and respond.
So I guess the point that I was going to make before, is it sustainable? I'll go ahead and answer that real quick. Is it sustainable? No. Mm-hmm. Not in the current form. It's not. The principle, the concept is, but like it's got to be some different type of structure for it to be sustainable, in my opinion. There
got to be some regulation around it. I understand.
Yeah, the one thing that I did want to say about teams leaving the SEC is that the one advantage that the SEC has over most conferences is it's still pretty regional. You don't want to go to the Big Ten and then, you Mississippi State, you have to go play Oregon and then Maryland and then those road games for the year. Like that's still kind of all over the place. And when it comes to like funding, I know like when people spend money, like they like their money to go to one spot if they can see it all in one spot. So the SEC kind of has that going with it. And then the other conferences that are regional, like I said, it's going to be tough to make the playoff in those conferences. You can run through the Sun Belt.
Arkansas go to the Sun Belt. If Arkansas go to the Sun Belt, they go into the playoffs like 6 years in a row.
So
win, lose, or draw. And they have not been in the SEC forever.
They would have to be the highest ranked, of the highest ranked conference champion outside of the Power Four.
And they might win the March Madness. They might win March Madness.
Okay. So I don't know if it's sustainable in the current
you got
state that it is, but
put a cap on.
It's got to be some type of something. They got to come up with something. I don't know what the answer is. I think they should get rid of the athletic scholarships and just treat it like it's a job. But then that also comes with some different type of, you got people who not even enroll going to school here. It opens the door for a lot of that to happen. So I don't know how they police that. I think they've opened up a can of worms. And it's just crazy because they had this thing all figured out, but they were so busy focused on, little things. It's like, you don't realize when you've won, right? College football was in a great place and y'all had won, but then y'all was so busy policing all these little bitty things, autographs and textbooks and all these things. And then
hoarding money.
Yeah, and then people fought back, right? Naturally fought back against that, and then here we are. Opened it all the way up, and when that didn't necessarily have to happen, you could have regulated it. But I don't know how you can go back to that or put that back in the box. I don't know the answer. This basically is what I'm saying.
Mark, what you got to say before we get up out
of here? As far as sustainability, I'll say I disagree with that. I think to whatever environment that they put in. So teams will keep adapting until you regulate it. They'll keep figuring out ways to work around it and to make it beneficial for them. So it's going to be sustainable for those programs that keep doing it. But like Ted said, I just hope they regulate it because it's going to get, for us as fans, it's going to get uglier before it get better.
I like that. Shout out to y'all, man. And Auburn Dad agrees. He said, great convo and pod. Shout out to Auburn Dad for that, man. Tight, tell them where they can find you at, my guy.
Oh, you can find me on Facebook, YouTube. Please hit that like button right in the eye tonight for the work. And send all extra cornflakes in the cans to tightsports@gmail.com. I take coupons. Y'all have a good night.
That's what's up. Tess, what's going on?
What's happening, man? Find me at It's SEC Season on YouTube, on Twitter. You can find my personal Twitter at codename Tez. And just, I don't know, y'all can leave this in the comments. I got a real quick question real quick. I'm just curious about this. Y'all can leave the answer in the comments if you want. How long do you think it gets it takes for us to get in college football to a period where it's like 5 years, no change. 5 years, no change to the playoff. 5 years, no change to NIL. So kind of like when the BCS era had that just consistently where it was like 5 years, nothing change. This is what we expect from college football. How long do you think it takes us to get to that?
Next year.
15.
Next year. The next it's going to be next year because of the fact that the SEC and the Big Ten going to have control over everything. So next year.
Which is a mistake.
Yeah, I agree with you there. But it's going to but at least for that 5 year period, because the TV contract ended, I believe, in 2031 or 20.
Are we at 12 or 16?
What are you talking
16
about?
teams.
14 teams?
16
No,
teams.
we 14. 16, yeah.
16?
16 SEC teams, yeah.
No. I'm sorry. In the playoffs.
No, we'll be at 14 next year.
14.
They're going 16 next year. So they say going to 16. I don't know why they thinking drawing this out, but
yeah, 12 now, but it'll definitely be 14 next year. They already said that.
Christ.
Shout out to Ted, man. Make sure y'all go follow DC Wolf over at Auburn Addicts TV as well. Go follow Up Tempo Podcast with Blake and Dustin over there, and follow B Sharp over there at Sharpshooters Podcast, man.
Sharpshooters,
and of course, before y'all get up out of here, man, follow us on Facebook at the Water Cooler Talk Podcast, man, and on Instagram and TikTok. Follow us at the Water Cooler Talk. On Twitter, X, follow us at CoolersPod23 as well. And then, of course, subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell button here on YouTube. Trying to reach 650 subscribers, and then after that, 700. So it is what it is, man. We appreciate y'all so much. Let's get these comments. I'm pretty sure you got some answers to that question, Ted. Let's look at these comments before we get up out of here. Auburn Dad said, man, really great show, great convo, great pod. Travell said, really great show. It's me. I am not the Mobile Leprechaun. It's me. Chill out with that. Tight Sports said 15 years. 15. That's what he said. 15. He said 15. The King himself said this could end up pushing a lot of smaller schools back down. That cannot contend with the bigger money makers. Yeah, it's gonna end.
Shout out to your Bowling Green.
It's gonna end up. That's gonna end up happening, man. 14 or 16 is what he's saying. Y'all need to watch old Mississippi State coaches playing the playoffs. Hey, don't worry about it. If he stay there long enough, he gonna have them in it. They going 6-6.
He's talking about Mike Leach.
Oh, Mike Leach is what he's talking about.
Mike Leach has a viral. Look it up. I know exactly what he's talking about. Look it up. He explained the playoff, and it's beautiful the way he explained it.
Last time,
in the most Mike Leach way.
Last time Mississippi State won 9 games, guess who's the head coach? Mike Leach. RIP to the Pirate, Mike Leach, man. And King Richard said, great show, fam. Enjoy. Shout out to you, King, man. War Eagle to all y'all, man. We appreciate y'all so much. We'll be back Monday.
Get some rest.
Eastern, 7
Get
p.m.
some rest. Get some rest.
Man. We thank y'all so much for continuing to rock with us here around the Water Cooler, man. Shout out to Tight. Shout out to Tez for always coming. For always when I call, when I text, when I ring, they be like, send the link. I'll be like, all right, then, bro. We're going to make it happen. We appreciate y'all so much for rocking with us as always, man. Until next time, y'all have a great weekend, man. But as always, y'all have a good one. Better yet, y'all have a great one. Have a great weekend. Y'all be blessed, man. Make sure y'all give the man upstairs above his because he deserves all of it, man. Until then, we'll see you later. War Eagle. And it is one love. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We out this mug. Eugene Asante, take us out, my guy.
Boys and girls of all ages.
Yeah.
You're tuned into the Water Cooler Talk Podcast, the biggest podcast in the world. Yeah.
Thanks for checking out this episode of Water Cooler Talks with your hosts, Nick Frazier and Marcus Fitzpatrick. Make sure you like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so that you never miss an episode.